It feels like some of these AI companies just pop up out of nowhere, right? One minute you've never heard of them, and the next they are absolutely everywhere. We are talking about a kind of explosive growth that is just completely rewriting the rules of business. Okay, let's get right into it because we're about to break down exactly how the top 1% are pulling this off. $100 million. I mean, that used to be the magic number for annual revenue, a goal that could take a company a solid decade, maybe more, to hit. But for this new wave of AI companies, that whole timeline has been crushed into something that's almost hard to believe.
And what's really crazy is just the raw speed. I mean, look at these numbers. Harvey, an AI tool for lawyers, smashed that $100 million mark in under 3 years. 11 Labs did it in 21 months. Cursor? Just 1 year. And then you have Lovable, which hit $100 million in revenue in just 8 freaking months. Insane.
So, the big question is, how? How is this even possible? What is the secret playbook that these companies are using that the other 99% just don't seem to have? Well, there's this fascinating report from the venture capital firm Andreessen Horowitz, you probably know them as A16Z, that breaks it all down. And according to them, the answer is a powerful new phenomenon they call the Great Expansion. To really get what's happening now, we've got to take a quick step back and look at the old way of doing things. Let's dig into why traditional software companies were just fundamentally limited and couldn't possibly scale this fast. So before AI really took off, software companies usually made money in two main ways. First up, advertising. Think social media. The problem there is you hit a hard ceiling. There are only so many hours in a day a person can scroll, right? The second way was flat subscriptions, where every single premium user pays the exact same fee, no matter if they use the service a little or a lot. And this is where a really crucial idea comes into play: revenue retention. It sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It just answers the question, of all the money my customers gave me in January, how much of that am I still earning from that exact same group of people a year later? And that's why the old subscription model was always talked about like a leaky bucket. People would cancel. That's called churn, which meant companies were in this constant, exhausting battle just to find new customers to replace the ones they lost, all just to stay flat. But the new AI model, well, it's not a leaky bucket at all. It's a system of compounding growth. And this chart, wow, it just lays it all out perfectly. In the old software world, a best-in-class company would be thrilled to keep 40% of its revenue from a group of customers after a year. But today, the fastest-growing AI companies are seeing revenue retention above 100%. That's right, the same group of customers from a year ago is actually paying them more money today.
And this phenomenon is what A16Z calls the Great Expansion. It's the big idea, the core insight that explains this whole new era of hypergrowth. It all comes down to how AI has completely rewritten the basic economics of software.
To put it another way, AI turns that leaky bucket into an expanding asset. Instead of constantly fighting to refill lost revenue, every single group of new customers actually becomes a source of more revenue over time. And that right there is where growth starts to compound, creating that insane, explosive curve we saw at the beginning.
Okay, so that's the what. Now for the how. How exactly are they doing this? How can any company tap into this great expansion? Well, the report lays out 3 core strategies that the top AI companies are all using right now.
So what's in this playbook? It's basically 3 key moves. First, you use a new kind of hybrid pricing. Second, you build a bridge that lets your product go from being used by one person to being used by their whole company. And third, and this one might surprise you go after those big enterprise customers way, way sooner than companies used to. First up is hybrid pricing. See, the smartest companies aren't just charging a single flat fee. They offer a base subscription plan, but then they let their heaviest users buy more credits if they need more power. This simple change is the engine that drives that revenue retention way past 100%. Let's look at a pricing model like this. You've got your standard monthly plan, right? But for the power users, the ones who get a ton of value and need more, they can just buy extra credits. It's brilliant because it perfectly aligns how much you pay with how much value you get. The more a customer uses and loves your product, the more revenue they generate. It just makes sense. The second strategy is what the report calls the consumer to enterprise bridge. And this quote really nails it. These days, employees aren't just messing around with AI tools at home, they're bringing them into the office. And here's the key part. They're getting their companies to foot the bill. And that creates a massive, massive opportunity. Just look at the price jump for ChatGPT. An individual user pays $20 a month, but for an enterprise user, that jumps to $60 a month. Companies that build out features like collaboration tools and team security can command this huge price increase, turning regular people into big spending enterprise buyers.
Okay, the last strategy is a bit counterintuitive, especially for a product that starts with individual consumers. You have to build for the enterprise and you have to do it fast. The report basically argues that you need to hire your first head of sales within your first year of business. Because while that grassroots bottom-up adoption is great to get you started, it can only take you so far. And the reason for this urgency is simple: speed. A decade ago, a company like Canva could take its time. They waited 7 years before launching a team product. Today, that kind of delay would be fatal. The pace of AI is just so fast that if you don't build those enterprise features from day one, you can bet a competitor will swoop in and steal that entire market right out from under you.
So when you put all this together, what does it all mean? The writing is on the wall. This great expansion is letting companies scale in ways we once thought were impossible, and it's fundamentally changing what it even means to build a business from the ground up. So the core takeaway, the bottom line, is this. We've officially entered an era where massive, industry-defining businesses can be built not in decades, but in months. The playbook for growth has been completely torn up and rewritten, and the speed of innovation is only getting faster. Which leaves us with one last, kind of fascinating question. If the entire life cycle of building a massive company has been compressed so dramatically, what does that mean for the future of technology, of business, of work itself? What on earth comes next?